joining our team, Prestige Worldwide, and here to talk about our trunk organizer. Start with the problem definition. In modern day SUVs and crossovers, I think kind of the space is underutilized, and therefore we had the motivation to come up with the trunk organizer. And as you can see, I mean, a lot of times space isn't an issue, but floor space we think could be better utilized. Here's another example of the motivation. We created a mind map in class to get a better idea of our user, and here you can see a list, some examples, and this helped us to come up with some ideas, other ideas. For example, you want a place to keep cold beverages, tailgater, maybe a gallon of milk from the store for your mom, groceries, compartment for groceries, maybe an area for dirty clothes, like an athlete with dirty sports equipment, or an outdoor enthusiast, things like that. And also for the elderly, keeping it relatively lightweight. And additionally, other heavy-duty items, the construction worker, things like that, maybe more robust design. So those are some of our ideas.
So once we kind of get an idea of what our customers might be what it might look like, we came up with 10 design criteria to kind of quantify their desires and needs and kind of figure out how we'll be able to evaluate our designs and then eventually evaluate the success of our project. So the first criteria we have is usability. And this is basically meaning, is this a product that someone will want to use? So we're going to measure this by basically the percentage of trips that a user takes that they use this organizer. So if they go to the grocery store, we want 100% of the time that they put the groceries in their organizer. Ease of assembly, this goes towards the taking it out of the box and putting it in the trunk. We thought this is something very important because it's kind of your first experience with the product, and we want to make sure that it's a good experience so that your initial thoughts are positive. Safety, pretty self-explanatory. We want to make sure that no one gets hurt by this, especially worth consideration is keeping items in the organizer from flying into the passenger compartment. Affordability is something that we looked at. Rather than define on cost or price, we wanted to look at how the people spend their money, so more something like percentage of weekly household discretionary spending as far as gauging where it fits in their lives. Versatility, keeping in mind the different needs that our users have. So if it's a construction worker, they might need plywood, but they also might need the organizer, so making sure that it can meet a variety of needs. If they have cold stuff, if they have dirty stuff, if they have different certain things, we can meet that. Lightweight, again, we didn't want to do just weight, but just the amount of force it takes to open it. So if you lift it up, it takes 5 pounds. Collapsible, how small it gets, basically ensuring that it gets flat and it's easy to do. Attractive, just basically it's something that looks like it belongs in a trunk. We certainly don't expect this to be a design breakthrough for your trunk. Environmentally friendly, something that isn't a huge focus for us, but want to make sure it is an acceptable level of sustainability. And then durability, something we think is actually pretty important because the average user holds their car for 5 years or so and make sure that it lasts that long.
Our team came up with 4 design concepts for the organizer. The first being the heavy-duty design, more marketable toward police officers or service workers to fit their tools and weapons in safely. It is made of metal. Can you go back, please? Sorry. It is made of metal and has lockable compartments, but is not collapsible. The next design is the IKEA model. It'll be probably the cheapest of the concepts. It is made of wood and is easily collapsible and assemblable and disassemblable, but it'll not be very versatile. The next model we came up with was the fully adjustable model. It features hooks to hang grocery bags, a bar to hang clothes, and a removable shelf, and it will be able to collapse by folding the sides. And the last concept was the grocery getter concept, which was most closely related to our alpha prototype. It features hooks to hang groceries, a cooler to store items that need to be cooled, a compartment to put dirty clothes and shoes in, and a bar to hang clothes again, and it will be collapsible.
Okay, so after creating the design concepts, we created our alpha prototype. We built it out of balsa wood and some glue. We didn't want to waste too much of our budget on our early prototype, so we built it to a 1/4 scale. And so the main features that we incorporated into this, kind of what we discussed before, down here we have a removable cooler. So you can store your groceries, your milk, your ice cream on the way back from the grocery store, or you can store beverages in there and take it out to a sporting event or something like that. So that's a very versatile component. We also have a waterproof compartment that can also be taken out and cleaned, because you're going to be storing probably dirty, muddy boots, sports equipment like Mike said, and also maybe a swimsuit on the way back from the beach or something like that. Up here, this fence represents a netted in larger compartment, so you can kind of throw a bunch of items in there and you can ensure that they're not going to be moving around your trunk. So this is going to be, you can pull it out right here, insert your items, and then close them up. And then the last main feature is the clothes hanger over here, which in full scale is going to be 8 inches long, so you can hold maybe 2 suits, a handful of dress shirts. So it'll be a really nice feature to have. So the next steps, now that we have our alpha prototype built, are going to be to determine the method of collapsibility, because we didn't really address that in the prototype. So the placing of hinges, how they're going to work, because that's one of our main objectives. We want to finalize the type and size of the compartments. We have a lot of kind of versatile shelves there. We want to make sure that we're happy with their size, and we want to formulate some economic objectives and then construct a beta prototype, test it with our users, and make any design changes if needed. And the challenges are going to be finding a material that is durable enough and also has good appearance for the user, and also, like we said before, collapsibility. Make sure it collapses to a small size, but it's also very rigid when not collapsed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to pass the prototype around?
Any questions, please?
In the back over there.
So what size car would this be designed for? Is this SUV only, and so what's the visibility from looking out the back?
Yeah, so we based the prototype on Ford Escape, so this is a quarter scale, and basically those middle shelves there are at about the same level as the back seat of the car, so it adds no visibility, and that's the clothes on the side is enough out of the way that you can still see at the back. And that's in safety as well.
Yeah, the way the top shelves are designed, like you said, they're right at the back of the seat. So if you're just going somewhere short and you have a lot of stuff to move, you can pile on those top shelves and maybe sacrifice your visibility. But for day-to-day use, you're going to have perfect visibility out the back.
But we're also not going to set it on a certain type of vehicle, probably mostly vans, crossovers, or SUVs, because I mean, a car trunk might be a little too small, but yeah, and I mean, we haven't decided whether we're going to make it one specific size or many different sizes to accompany all these different vehicles.
Yes, I was gonna say, let's say you have that what's that called, the organizer on the back, and some spaces are filled with stuff, and then let's say you just decide you want to put like a luggage or something, you go into the airport. Don't you have to like take the whole thing, kind of leave it somewhere so you can put the luggages in there?
No,
how do you?
It's completely collapsible, so that we've just said, about 6 inches of height when it's fully collapsed. So and that's a very important thing, is that people don't take it out. We want to make sure it collapses enough so that people don't take it out and then risk leaving it in their garage for forever. We make it collapse out of the way so you can put your luggage on top of it, put your plywood or whatever on top of it.
And this will be using hinges or some other method, but it will be collapsible.
Yes. So it's about this tall. Make it fold kind of like folding chair style down to get it, like this. So you can stack your luggage right on it. Would be the idea.
So the cooler would be like a soft cooler?
Yeah, right. More like an insulator.
Have you guys done research on materials you want to use that would be strong enough so if somebody does throw the bag on top of it, like damage or?
Probably going to be a durable plastic, more than likely. Maybe an aluminum when we do the next step is like a stress analysis. So when we do that, but it's more than likely going to be a heavy plastic with the hinges obviously metal.
Last question, please.
Did you guys do any surveys asking if people would actually buy something like this?
Yeah. With the survey of the class, about half of them said this would be something of interest. Trunk's disorganized. We actually also had several other pretty good suggestions for other items, possibly a first aid kit, an area for an ice scraper, a trash bag area. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.